Hi guys, we are going to be working on our writing today. We are going to be learning and using um, some new words for the word go or went. And these are all verbs, and we've talked about verbs before. Okay, remember when we did Vicky Verb? Well, we're going talking about verbs again, and I'm going to read a story to you, and then we're going to play a game, and I've got all kinds of things that you're going to help me with today. So, our story is I Went Walking. I'm going to turn this just a little bit so you can see. And it was written by Sue Williams and illustrated by Julie Vivas. Okay? And if you look at the cover, what do you see? Yeah, see a child, and then you see like a duck. It looks like the child's kind of talking to the duck. Okay? Well, let's see what kind of an adventure this little kiddo had. I went walking. And there's our title page. I Went Walking. Again, it tells you written by Sue Williams and illustrated by Julie Vivas. And here we go. It says, I went walking. What did you see? I saw a black cat looking at me. Oh, does this story remind you of one you might have heard before? Kind of reminds me of one. Thinking brown bear, brown bear? Says, I went walking. What did you see? Now let's use some of those prediction skills. What do you think is attached to that? Any ideas? Well, let's check, okay? I saw a brown horse looking at me. Okay, still. I went walking. What did you see? You have a prediction? Let's check it. I saw a red cow looking at me. I went walking. What did you see? Look, you can make a prediction about what you think he's going to see. I saw a green duck looking at me. I went walking. What did you see? Look over here. See if you can predict what that could be. Oops. I saw a pink pig looking at me. I went walking. What did you see? See, you always can make a prediction, can't you? I saw a yellow dog looking at me. I went walking. What did you see? I saw a lot of animals following me. They look like they're all playing and having a good time, don't they? Well, you know what I noticed through this whole story? That the author kept using the word over and over, walking. Walking. I went walking. I went walking. And it's not that walking's a bad word to use. It's just that I think that we could use lots and lots of other great words, you know. I think that we could come up with some more words that would sound just as great in the story, plus maybe make it a little bit more interesting. So, if you're wanting to move from one place to the other, yes, walking is a lot of the way, most of the time, how we do that, right? If I want to get from this side of the room to that side of the room, I usually walk over there. Okay, but let's think of other ways I could move from this side of the room to the other side of the room. And while you're thinking about those, while we're thinking of that, I'm going to be writing them over here on my blue paper. Okay? So let me hop over here real quickly. Okay? And so we were thinking a different way if I want to get across this room. Okay? How's another way I could do that besides walking? Well, what if I hopped across the room? Would that get me from one side to the other? Absolutely. So, hopped could be a word I could use. Okay? Let me write that up here. Okay? How's another way I could get from one side of the room to the other? Exactly. I could skip. I skipped. Okay, that's definitely a different way to move across the room. Makes it a little more interesting. What's another way you could get from one side of the room to the other? Crawl. I crawled across the room. Okay, those are good words that you could use instead of walking, right? So, I'm going to come back over here to our story and we're going to add in these words and see what we think about them in the story in place of walking. Okay, so we have our story. I went walking, and let's just go over to the first page. Okay, so the first page that we were reading. Okay, so he says, I went walking. Okay, could we say, I went hopping? Yeah, we could say that. I went hopping. What did you see? I saw a black cat looking at me. You know what? I'm going to come over here and I'm going to change the endings of these words to show the ing. So I went hopping. Let me put that in there. Crawling. And then skipping. Okay? Just like the walking part. Okay, let's go to the next page. Let's see if it would work if we put in skipping. I went skipping. What did you see? Does the story still make sense? Sure. It just makes your brain have a little bit more to visualize, doesn't it? Like when you're making your mind movie, it's a little bit more exciting in your movie for someone to be skipping or crawling or hopping, right? Okay, well, here comes our game. Our game is called the no-go game, okay? So I'm going to be drawing some cards, and I want you to do the movement of the cards that I draw, okay? Let me grab those cards. Okay, got my cards, and now you are going to get to do these movements, okay? Get our book over here. So, these are my no-go game cards, okay? There's lots of different cards, and whenever I draw a card, then I want you to do that movement at home, okay? Are you ready? And these are different ways of saying go or went. It just gives you more, like makes your writing more interesting. And remember, these are all verbs, and we have talked about those before. Okay, word is stomped. So this is going to be our sentence. I stomped across the room. Everybody up and stomp, stomp, stomp across your room. Okay, that's more fun than walking, right?